Economy Minister Diane Dodds questioned why Robin Swann was saying he would be asking for further measures, only days after Stormont had agreed its latest response to the pandemic. Mr. Swann voted for last week's measures to extend the circuit break by a week and then roll out a phased reopening of the hospitality sector. However, the minister has made clear he wanted a full 2-week extension of the circuit break and only supported the proposals, which were tabled by Mrs. Dodds, because the alternative would have seen all restrictions on the hospitality sector fall away at midnight last Friday. At the weekend, Mr. Swann used a broadcast media interview to indicate he would be going back to executive colleagues before the end of the month to request further pre-Christmas restrictions. Mrs. Dodds queried his position in the Assembly on Monday as she answered an urgent oral question on the length of time it was taking to open a COVID-19 support payment scheme to supply chain businesses affected by the closure of hospitality businesses. She said other than the reopening of coffee shops and the resumption of close contact services this coming Friday, the majority of the circuit break had been extended for 2 weeks. Yet the health minister, again on television, but not to this House, on Sunday said that he would be asking for further restrictions. Mrs. Dodds told the Assembly, "Today I've spoken to a number of people within the hospitality sector who are extremely annoyed and disappointed that the rules of this game keep changing all the time. And I would urge the health minister to indicate to this chamber and indeed to the hospitality sector what he wants them to do in order to open safely so that we avoid a repeat of last week. And if he can't tell us that they can open safely, then what is he saying to the 65,000 people whose jobs depend on tourism and hospitality?" SDLP MLA Sinead McLaughlin and Alliance MLA Andrew Muir criticized Mrs. Dodds' use of the word game in describing Mr. Swann's response to the pandemic. "It's regrettable terminology that the minister used to suggest that this is a game in any shape, form or fashion," said Ms. McLaughlin. Mr. Muir added, "The minister referred to this as a game. I would profoundly disagree with her. It's an horrendous nightmare." Mrs. Dodds responded, "I don't consider this a game. Actually, I know so many people who are extremely stressed, anxious, people who are facing perhaps unemployment, people who don't know where to turn to get Christmas over. This is not a game." Mrs. Dodds said she accepted that Mr. Swann was sincere in his motivation. "But we will have to have 2 things happen," she added. 1. We will have to know what the further restrictions the health minister wants to bring, and 2. We have to know what the proposals are then from him as to how we break the cycle of lockdowns.